All right, we are here with South Carolina head coach Boo Major. The Gamecocks open up their spring schedule on Saturday when they host Tennessee Martin at 10 a.m. in Blythewood. Coach, after winter break and getting back into the semester and everything, how have you felt the first couple weeks of practice have gone?
Well, I think we've, coming in, we're a little rusty. We're dusting the cobwebs off. The horses are a little fresh here and there. And I think that the biggest issue is to make sure that we get the horses up to speed as well as our riders up to speed. Now, the girls have been technically should have been riding all over the holidays, so I'm assuming that they all were riding over the holidays, and so it isn't so much about them getting back into the mix as much as the horses getting back in the mix. So we're moving along. The weather has been very cooperative this week, thank goodness. We've had some sketchy days here and there where we've had to kind of dodge a bullet here and dodge a bullet there as far as the weather is concerned, but we have been able to get practices in all week and all week last week, and I think we've been pretty consistent with our practices, so all's good.
All right, well, Coach, when you look back to the fall semester, 5 of your 7 meets took place on the road. You have not competed at home since early October. So when you talk about getting to return home to compete at home, your own facility, your own horses, just talk about what you'd like to see out of your group here this weekend.
Well, I think one thing is we are all very excited to be back home. I mean, when you have all those road competitions, it is very difficult to win on the road, and we really struggled a good bit on the road this past year. So I think what we're looking for is in the fall, it was early October, but if you remember, early October was our competition against TCU was the Friday before we had the flood, and our competition against Auburn was the Friday after the flood. And everybody was in a shambles. I think that we were having issues, girls were having issues with not having water in their dorms and things like that. So there was a lot of stress going on for the TCU meet as well as for the Auburn meet. And so it's going to be nice to have a great weekend where the weather is beautiful. I think it's going to be 65 this weekend, so that's one of the great things we're looking for. And we think we're going to enjoy ourselves a good bit this weekend. One of the things I'm going to preach to the girls is let's forget about our record last semester and let's really look at getting the job done, but having a good time while we're at it. And it's going to be nice to have a home meet as our first meet this semester.
It's hard to believe it's Tennessee Martin's first trip to Blythewood since November of 2009. Been a long time since they've been here. They're a team every year. They always seem to get a couple road wins that nobody expects them to get. In the fall, I know they beat Fresno State at Baylor. So when you look at a team like Tennessee Martin in the United Conference, a good team on the road, just talk about what you know about them and what you think they're going to bring this weekend.
Well, I think it's exactly what you said. I think they're a team that on any given day can beat anybody. I think they do travel well. We haven't seen them in a while here. We've been able to go and compete at UT Martin, which is a great experience for us. But I think that it'll be a good competition. I think both teams are going to be a little rusty. I think they've had some issues with the weather in Tennessee, so there's some issues thrown in there. But we're looking forward to having a great competition with them. I certainly think it'll be a close competition, as it usually is when we compete against them. And we're hoping that we're going to have practiced enough and are confident enough that we'll be able to come out on top.
The spring semester is a lot busier in the sense that you have a lot more meets taking place in a much shorter amount of time. When you look between now and spring break, you're going to have a bunch of road competitions, a bunch of home competitions. There's going to be a lot going on. As you enter the spring semester each year, kind of what is your message compared to the fall?
Well, I think it's finished strong. It was a tough fall, and not only tough because our record doesn't speak well for us. I think that our girls are, I love this team. It's a great team. We've had instances where we've lost, and we've had instances where the ball just didn't bounce our way, and we ended up losing. And we also have won some as well. So I think this semester it's about let's just concentrate on this semester. Again, the word that I had for them last semester was just keep trying to get better. I do think we did get better last semester. I don't think it showed up on the scoreboard per se, but I do think the team gradually got better. Again, the preaching of the mistakes a number one, that you can't win by making a lot of mistakes. And so if we can minimize the mistakes, then I think we'll have a very successful Saturday.
Not to try to look ahead, but when you have Georgia coming in next weekend, so in terms of the SEC race and maybe some of those things that won't matter till maybe March or April down the road, but in terms of your non-conference meets, would you maybe consider this one this weekend maybe your most important non-conference meet of the season so far?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and I also look, we have one at the end of the semester against Delaware State and SMU. And I think those are kind of like bookends that we want to be able to start. We want to be able to start out strong, and we want to be able to finish strong. Certainly our conference play is very, very important, but it's also important that we start out on a very positive note with a win at home. And, I think UT Martin's going to bring a great team. I think it's going to be a wait and see type of thing as to how well our team is going to respond. But I'm very excited. I know they're very excited to get started, and I think that we've got to get it done. We're going to try to get it done this weekend, and then move on to competing against Georgia next week.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us today. We will see you on Saturday.
Thanks, Corey.